What's up guys, welcome back to another Eurofantasy 2021 video. This is another part of my series for top 10 players in each position. This time I'm going to be covering my top 10 forwards for Matchday 1. Again, it's going to be focused on purely on the fixtures, so it's not the best forwards for the whole tournament, it's purely the top 10 forwards I think are best for the first matchday. So number 10 I've gone for Yussuf Poulsen. The main reason I've chosen this guy is because, well, firstly, Denmark are playing Finland, who are not the best defensive side, and I fancy Denmark to keep a clean sheet, but I do also fancy them to win the game, which means the goals have got to come from somewhere, and it's either going to be Christian Eriksen, or I think it's going to be this guy, Yussuf Poulsen. It could also potentially be another forward called Wind, but I do think that Poulsen, it tends to get in the box a bit more. And if Denmark are going to score, it's likely to come from him. He doesn't actually play in the striker position. I think Wind actually plays in the striker position, but he does play just off the striker, usually on the right wing or just behind the striker. So yeah, so number 10, I've gone with Yussuf Poulsen. Number 9, I've gone with Yaremchuk. But for the lower positions, I found it quite hard to pick forwards who I'm confident will score. However, the reason I've gone with Yaremchuk is because he's only 7 million, and also because we're playing Netherlands, who are not the best defensive side. They do tend to leak goals, and Netherlands tend to try and win games by outscoring opposition. So I do think that means Ukraine will score goals. It doesn't necessarily mean that Yaremchuk will be the goal scorer, as I'm not too familiar with Ukraine's team. It could come from numerous different positions, but having said that, he does seem like pretty well priced, and you can never hurt playing, being the number 1 striker for your team. So for that reason, I've gone with Yaremchuk. Number 8, I've gone with Immobile, priced at 10 million, playing Turkey for their first match. Turkey, I have mentioned in previous videos, Turkey are a good defensive side, but I do think Italy will win this match, and again, that means that the goals have to come from somewhere. They do have a few options, Italy. I mean, we've got Berardi, Chiesa, Insigne, Barella. The goals can come from quite a few different positions, but having said that, Immobile does seem quite central to a lot of their play. So I do think that he can get a goal against Turkey, maybe even 2-3 goals. But yeah, 10 million is not the cheapest. There are other good 10 million options out there, and I would put him in the premium price bracket. But that's why he's at my number 8 spot rather than further up. He is a good option. I do think he's a good option. He may share penalties with Jorginho. I've heard different things about who's going to be taking penalties. I have a feeling it will probably be Jorginho over Immobile. So for that reason, it does make sense to put him down the pecking order at number 8. But still a good option. So that's Immobile at number 8. Number 7, I've gone with Burak Yilmaz, priced at 8 million, playing Italy. Not the easiest first fixture. In fact, it's a very difficult fixture, as Italy are a very good defensive side. However, he is priced pretty well at 8 million. He's also been in incredible form. I believe he plays for Lille. He's the top scorer in the French league, so he's been in incredible form. Whether he can replicate that for Turkey, we shall see. As in, playing friendlies and playing Nations League and warm-up games is very different to the real-life tournament. But we'll see if he can replicate it. No reason that he can't. I mean, he's managed to prove people wrong despite his age, so there's no reason he can't do the same in the tournament. So that's number 7, Yilmaz. And number 6, I've gone for Cristiano Ronaldo. He is definitely a premium player, 12 million, definitely very expensive. His first fixtures against Hungary, who I have said previously, I don't think Portugal will score that many goals against Hungary. I do think Hungary will come and park the bus or make it very difficult for Portugal. However, at the end of the day, Cristiano Ronaldo has probably been the best striker / winger for the past 10 years or so. So I would not doubt him against any team. He could pop up with a hat-trick in pretty much any fixture. He is quite highly owned at 28%, which makes sense given his popularity. But yeah, I think 12 million is actually worth it if he can bag the hat-trick. And also he's playing on the last match day, which means that he's going to be a very popular captaincy option, which means yeah, I think number 6 is a fair spot for him. I do think there are better fixtures for certain forwards. If he was playing an easier team, I would definitely put him high up the list. But I do think Hungary will make it difficult for Portugal to score. I also think that Portugal are not always the most attacking team. They tend to prioritise defence first. So that reason he's at number 6, but still a very solid option. At number 5, I've gone with a bit of a wild card pick in Che Adams. One of the main reasons I have gone with him is he is 6.5 million, which is quite cheap, very lowly owned, only 1%, and he's playing Czech Republic in his first fixture, who I do think Scotland can score goals against. They're not the most prolific attacking team, Scotland, but I do fancy him to get a goal if they score. He tends to be, without a doubt, their best striker in that team, and I think he'll want to prove himself on the big stage. He has got a really solid work ethic. As the seasons have gone on, he's played better and better for Southampton, and I do think he'll turn up for Scotland. So number 5, I've gone for Che Adams. Number 4, I've gone for Memphis Depay. I think he's a very popular pick. He's on a lot of people's teams, and that's for good reason. It's priced at 10 million. That's very good. But what mainly attracts me to Memphis Depay is the fact that he's on all set pieces, corners, free kicks, and penalties. He's also been in crazy good form for Netherlands, which is really, really important going into a tournament to have good form. He's not got the easiest fixture in Ukraine. They are a pretty solid defensive side, but Netherlands, if they're going to win games, they're going to have to do it through scoring goals because they're not the best defensive side. So I definitely fancy Memphis Depay to get at least a few goals in the group stages. However, I would say there are slightly better options ahead of him purely based on the fixture. Definitely for Austria and North Macedonia, I would prioritise him. But for Ukraine, I think that's a tougher fixture. He is still a really good option, definitely a really good option. But at number 4, I've gone for Memphis Depay. Number 3, I've gone for Harry Kane. Doesn't really need too much explanation. He is pretty much always a top scorer in tournaments and in the Premier League. Priced at 11.5, very highly owned at 38%. I think he's definitely top 3 highest owned forwards in the game. He's playing Croatia, who I think England will definitely score goals against. They have got a decent midfield, Croatia, and they do have a pretty good team. Although having said that, it is quite aged. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that they could play well as a team, Croatia. However, I still think that if England are going to score goals, it's probably going to come through the main man, Harry Kane. And as well as that, he is also on penalties. He is their star man. He's nailed on. And I really do fancy him. The odds are in his favour to get a goal in that first game. So yeah, number 3, Harry Kane. Number 2, I've gone for Kylian Mbappe. But I'm also going to throw a bit of curveball in here and say that I also think that Griezmann is equally a good pick. The only difference is they are 1 million apart in price. Griezmann is priced at 11 million. But I do think Kylian Mbappe will outscore him over the course of the tournament. But for their first fixture, the goals could come either from Kylian Mbappe or Griezmann. I do think they'll share penalties. It's not exactly clear who's going to take penalties for France, as both Mbappe and Griezmann have missed their most recent penalties. But I do really think that Kylian Mbappe is probably right now the most talented forward in international football. He is such a young age, but to perform how he did in the previous World Cup and in the leagues, it's crazy how talented this guy is. He's absolutely rapid as well, but his finishing is also just as good. 12 million is not cheap, but he is playing Germany, who do let in goals. They're not the best defensive side. They do have good offensive players, Germany. But again, I think that France can definitely put goals against Germany. And if they do score goals, I'm pretty certain that Mbappe will be involved. So that's right, number 2, Mbappe. Number 1, I've gone with a fairly obvious pick in Romelu Lukaku. He is the highest owned forward in the whole game, and for good reason. He's been in absolutely insane form for Inter Milan and also for Belgium. He is their main man at Belgium, and if they're going to get goals, it's going to come through Romelu Lukaku. And it's not just one goal. He can also score easily a brace or a hat-trick. He's just in such good form right now. Russia is a great fixture. They will let in goals. And priced at 11 million, I'm actually surprised he's not the most expensive forward in the game, purely based on form. And the fact that he's such a star man for his team. I definitely think, without a doubt, the competition is not even close. He was the first guy on my team, and I really do rate him to score goals. So, yeah, without a doubt, Romelu Lukaku is number 1 for Matchday 1. Thank you so much for watching the video. I am going to be putting out 2 more videos on the top 10 midfielders and also top 10 defenders. Midfielders will be slightly harder to choose than defenders, but stay tuned for both of those. I'm also going to be doing one more Rate My Team video, and finally my final draft before the matches start tomorrow. So stay tuned for all of those, and yeah, take care.